like
Reagan.
Reagan,
So
HW, any of them. Yeah.
well, I can tell you right off, you know, what is it? Dung flows downhill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you have good leadership at the top and you have good leadership underneath.
Mm-hmm.
You have crap leadership at the top and it all flows downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan was a good leader. He had, for the most part, some very good people around him, real professionals, successful business people, successful entrepreneurs, successful military people. He had good people around him. Now, they weren't all good people. Like, for example, Caspar Weinberger, I think he was a traitor, frankly. But he had many, and I also didn't like who was the secretary of
McNamara?
No, that was under Kennedy,
Oh, that was Kennedy. You're right.
and he was the Secretary of Defense. But I can't think of his
I
name.
can't remember either.
I can see his face. I can't think of his name. But he was sort of a squishy Republican, and I didn't think he was that good. But for the most part, Reagan had good people around him.
Yeah.
And when H.W. Bush took over, everything flipped. He appointed his golfing buddies and their kids
Yeah.
and his biggest donors' kids to all the most important positions in the White House. So you had a bunch of know-nothing idiots running around representing President H.W. Bush for 4 years. And the only smart guy he had was the director of the Office of Management and Budget. He was a smart guy, but his big mistake was that he convinced H.W. Bush to raise taxes after he had said, "Read my lips, no new taxes."
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's name was Richard Darman. And I knew Darman because, all these people, it was a small organization. OMB had maybe 600 people. And as part of the Office of Economic Policy, I was over in the old executive office building, now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, every day. And, we would have Christmas parties in the hallways in the old executive. And that's the most beautiful building, by the way, in all of Washington, D.C. They have black and white marble floors with, you can see crustaceans, all kinds of fossils in the marble, and the walls are painted beautifully. The posts are all gilded in gold, gold leaf,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a gorgeous building, French Second Empire style. Stairs go up in a circular fashion, and the weight of each stair is what holds the stairs up. There's no supporting structure.
Wow.
They're just, edged into each other at each level, so that the pressure coming down is equally distributed, and they're
cool.
solid as a rock. And and then the bottom is all smooth. It's really quite amazing. And then they have skylights on all four corners and in the center with stained glass. It's just a beautiful, beautiful building. And I used to go in there all the time, and I explored it. I got into the attic. I found all kinds of things and learned all about that building because I loved it so much. But I met Darman, and he was at a Christmas party, the last one before Bush had to be gone. And Darman was just sitting there at that party by himself, and nobody would talk to him because he was basically the one who got the blame for blowing it with convincing George, convincing Bush to raise taxes after he said he wouldn't. And he looked at me plaintively, and he tried to explain. I I was really just, I thought I was doing the right thing, and I'm like, I'm just like this, GS11, this nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting there pleading because there's nobody else who will talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really pathetic. But the point is, you have good leadership, you get good people with you. If you have lousy leadership, you get lousy people with you. Now, Clinton got competent leadership,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all radical leftists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, he got radical leftist leaders that were smart. They were Harvard graduates. They were smart people. Um, Another interesting thing about H.W. Bush was that he couldn't stand, what was the vice president's name?
Oh,
Uh,
that was
Dan Quayle.
Quayle. Yeah.
He couldn't stand Dan Quayle. And Dan Quayle was a terrible public speaker, right? But he was a really smart guy, and he was a good leader. And guess what? He had really smart, good people around him. And I know because I helped him. I became the sole OMB representative to the Vice President Task Force on product liability reform. And so I got to meet these people. And they wanted to reform the product liability laws so that it may make it more difficult to sue companies that were being, literally fleeced for the, you put your foot under a running lawnmower and you can sue the lawnmower company. It's not their fault that you did something that stupid, but that's where product liability was going. And so I was part of that task force, and I got to know one of the one of the administrators who subsequently became the congressman from Ohio. I can't remember his name now. And then another lady who ran it. She was just like, scary smart. These people were very smart and very competent. And George H.W. Bush, you know, location in Washington, D.C., and proximity is everything. And so H.W. Bush took the vice president's office out of the White House and moved it back over into the old executive office building, where it had long been nothing more than a ceremonial office. But he wanted to get Dan Quayle and his crew as far away from him as he possibly could, because he didn't want to have anything to do with him. He didn't want to be upstaged by him. He didn't want to have anything to do with his conservative policies. H.W. Bush took some of Reagan's really great ideas and just cut them off overnight, like the Office of Privatization. He ended that the day he got in. And the Office of Privatization was a great idea because there are a lot of operations that are done by the government that could be done more efficiently and less expensive by the private sector. And that was the task of that group within OMB to do that. That went away immediately.
Do you know what faction backed Quayle's appointment to the VP? Like, obviously
Well, I
Bush
think,
wasn't one of them, so
no, I think that it was the kind of thing, it's the same thing, same kind of idea as why H.W. Bush became VP under Reagan. They wanted to unify the party. They wanted to find, in Reagan's case, they wanted to find a more moderate guy so that the party would be, be more unified. And I remember distinctly, H.W. Bush looking for, conservative to run as a VP for the exact same reason, to make him look more conservative and to make him more appealing or less unappealing, really,
Yeah, you
to
wanna select
the
someone weaker, but also carries water at the same time.
exactly, exactly. And Dan Quayle fit that bill perfectly because
Okay,
he's very conservative, he's very smart, but he just did not have a good public image.
gotcha. Okay. So he was a good weak VP for the principal
Yeah,
to select, got it. Okay.
yeah, and I've been in that vice president's office, and it is incredibly beautiful.
'Cause I just looked him up, and I didn't know, but he used to I think he chaired or he was a chairman or he was on, the board of, Cerberus Capital Management.
Uh,